At 4:23 a.m. on December 18, 1944, Corporal Thomas "Tom" Hale lay prone in the frozen mud of a Belgian roadside embankment, watching a German Mercedes-Benz 170V patrol vehicle approach through the pre-dawn darkness at 35 miles per hour. He had no bazooka, no landmines, no grenades, just a discarded canteen filled with wet sand and scrap metal, suspended from a high-tension wire so thin it was nearly invisible against the churned slush. Every commanding officer in the 106th Infantry Division had explicitly forbidden him from rigging it. In the next 47 seconds, that piece of junk would rewrite tactical history.
Welcome to World War Redacted. We tell amazing World War II stories about the heroes everybody else forgot to mention. Like and comment where you're watching from. Are you done? All right, let's continue.
The official U.S. Army Field Manual designated 23 approved methods for neutralizing fast-moving light transport. Hale's wasn't one of them. Major Sterling had threatened him with dishonorable discharge twice for unauthorized mechanical sabotage, endangering the integrity of conventional operations. But regulations don't mean much when you've watched your best friend bleed out in the snow, because the approved methods require heavy artillery that takes 4 minutes to position, while German Wolf patrols strike and vanish in 90 seconds. Hale's fingers, blue with cold, gripped the trigger line. The wire was thinner than a bootlace. The canteen, rusted, dented, worthless by any standard military assessment, hung at precise counterweight, calculated not with trigonometry tables, but with the hard-won physics of a Detroit engine shop where a single misaligned pendulum could shear a drive shaft clean through. The Mercedes engine growled closer, its headlights cutting pale scars through the morning fog. Somewhere behind Hale, in a foxhole 40 yards back, 3 men from his squad watched in silence, their lives wagered on a mechanic's instinct and a discarded piece of Army surplus. This wasn't heroism. This was necessity wrapped in rust and desperation, rigged by a man who'd learned long ago that the difference between a machine running and a machine dying was often just one deliberately placed obstruction in exactly the right place. The colonel inside that vehicle had orchestrated 17 successful raids in 9 days. He had 12 seconds left to live. Hale pulled the trigger line taut. The tree line offered no cover, only the illusion of it. Hale's squad had been pinned in this frozen stretch of Belgian forest for 19 hours, watching German light transports blur past their position like mechanical wolves hunting in packs. Private Kowalski had tried tracking one with the .30 caliber, burned through 47 rounds and didn't even crack the windshield. The jeeps moved too fast, weaving through the narrow forest roads at speeds that made conventional engagement impossible. By the time you acquired the target, it was already gone. By the time you repositioned, 3 more had passed. Sergeant Griffith called it chasing ghosts with anchors. Hale called it physics. The Germans had speed and maneuverability. The Americans had weight and doctrine. In this equation, weight was losing. Detroit, 1938. Hale was 16 when he watched a 2-ton stamping press tear itself apart because someone had left a 1/4-inch bolt rattling in the flywheel housing. The explosion sent shrapnel through 3 walls and put Old Man Kowalski, no relation to the private, in the hospital for 6 weeks. The foreman screamed about negligence, about following procedure, about the approved maintenance schedule. But Hale had learned something else that day, something they didn't teach in the manual. Every machine, no matter how massive, had a critical failure point. A single obstruction, placed with precision, could transform momentum into catastrophe. The trick wasn't overpowering the machine, it was understanding exactly where it would destroy itself. Major Sterling found the tripwire on December 14th during a routine inspection of the perimeter. He stood there in his pressed uniform, holding the jury-rigged canteen assembly like it was a live grenade, his face purple with restrained fury. "What in God's name is this, Corporal?" Hale tried to explain the physics, the kinetic transfer, the counterweight calculations, but Sterling wasn't interested in physics. He was interested in regulation. You will dismantle every one of these abominations immediately. You will surrender every tool, every scrap of wire, every piece of unauthorized equipment. And if I catch you tinkering again, you'll face court-martial. Do I make myself clear? Crystal clear, sir. Hale's toolkit disappeared into Sterling's footlocker that afternoon. Sully died at 3:40 hours on December 16th. The German patrol came fast, 2 jeeps, no headlights, executing a textbook hit and fade on the supply column. By the time Griffith got the heavy gun positioned, they were already gone. By the time the call for air support went through channels, Sully was bleeding out in the snow, calling for his mother in a voice that got quieter with each breath. The medic said it was quick. The medic lied. Hale sat in the frozen mud, watching his best friend's blood turn black against the white ground, and understood with brutal clarity the manual would kill them all. The only question was how many more would die before someone broke the rules. The tank graveyard lay 300 yards west, a testament to bad luck and good German gunnery. Hale moved through it at 2 o'clock hours, avoiding the sentries, searching the wreckage by feel. He needed specific materials, canteens with the right weight to density ratio, wire with precise tensile strength. Not just any scrap would work. The physics demanded exactitude. He found what he needed in a burned-out Sherman, 2 rusted canteens still strapped to a dead soldier's belt, and a coil of high-tension wire from the radio assembly. Hale whispered an apology to the corpse and took what he came for. Survival, he'd learned, required borrowing from the dead. The wire stretched across the road at axle height, invisible in the pre-dawn darkness. Hale lay in the embankment, his breath forming small clouds in the frozen air, his fingers wrapped around the trigger line. The Mercedes engine grew closer, knowingly closer, the sound of mechanical confidence. Behind him, 3 sets of eyes watched from the foxhole. No one spoke. The tension in the wire was identical to the tension in Hale's chest, both calibrated to the breaking point, both waiting for the precise moment when potential energy would transform into kinetic violence. The Jeep's headlights swept the road. 15 seconds. The canteen hung motionless, a rusted pendulum waiting for physics to prove itself. The canteen struck the front axle at the exact moment the Jeep's weight transferred forward, the impact point calculated to exploit maximum mechanical vulnerability. The tripwire snapped taut, shearing through the steering linkage like a garrote through flesh. The front wheels locked instantly, but momentum doesn't negotiate. 35 miles per hour became a fulcrum, the Jeep's own velocity leveraging it into a violent aerial rotation. Metal screamed against metal, the chassis twisted airborne, suspended in a shower of sparks and frozen mud. Hale watched it flip, 1 complete rotation, maybe 1.5, before it slammed to the earth with a sound like God's hammer striking an anvil. Then silence, then fire. The identification papers were still legible when Griffith pulled them from the wreckage. Oberst Heinrich Volker. The name meant nothing to Hale, but it meant everything to intelligence when they arrived 90 minutes later. Volker had orchestrated the entire regional offensive, 17 successful raids, 43 Allied casualties, strategic disruption across a 12-kilometer front. He'd been untouchable, a ghost the Allies couldn't pin down or predict, until a discarded canteen and a Detroit mechanic's understanding of physics had reduced him to a corpse in a burning Jeep. The power dynamic shifted instantly. Without Volker's coordination, the German rapid response units fragmented. By noon, the 106th had reclaimed the road. By nightfall, the offensive had stalled. Major Sterling pinned the Bronze Star on Hale's chest without meeting his eyes, the ceremony perfunctory and poisoned with unspoken resentment. The official citation credited innovative tactical application under combat conditions. It didn't mention trash or disobedience or the court-martial threats.
Comment what you think about this story, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this on the way.